organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Coming up tonight on Daily Iowan TV, terror again in the hearts of Europeans, but this time in Belgium. Next.
And threats to students on campus, the University of Iowa sent out a crime alert, and we have the details.
Winter storm. While spring is officially here in Iowa City, there is snow in the forecast.
After a successful fall season, it is on to the spring for head coach Kirk Ferentz and the Iowa Hawkeyes. Coach took some time to talk with the media, find out what he had to say later in sports.
Happy Tuesday, everyone, and thanks for joining us. I'm Alana Neal.
And I'm Jeremy Meyer. Terror in Belgium Tuesday. The terrorist group ISIS claimed responsibility for 3 bombs Tuesday morning in Brussels, Belgium, 2 at the international airport and 1 at the subway station. In response to the attacks, we spoke to the University of Iowa Study Abroad office about our students studying in Europe. Now, currently, no students from the UI are living in Belgium, and there is no one enrolled to study there this coming summer or fall. There are UI students in Europe, though, including neighboring countries. They released a statement on their homepage saying they've reached out to all study abroad students to confirm their well-being. They said, quote, UI students in Europe are advised to suspend any independent travel to Brussels and to confirm their registry with the Smart Traveler Enrollment Program for timely security updates about all locations in any travel itinerary, end quote. Now, the explosions in the home of the European Union killed at least 30 people and left about 230 wounded. This just days after the main suspect of the terror attacks in Paris was taken into custody. The assumption right now is that the terrorists came from the same network behind the attacks on France. And we spoke to a student who currently goes to school in Belgium. With her quote, she said, quote, after the Paris bomb threat, there was rumor saying that the terrorists are coming to Belgium. And now this thing happened. The terrorists must have been watching all of these all the time. And today there are a lot of policemen again, end quote. Authorities are currently searching for suspects.
President Obama took a moment Tuesday to address the Brussels bombing. He spoke from Cuba on his last day of the official visit. He pledged to do whatever is necessary to help Belgium authorities find justice in the midst of the attacks. He also said America's thoughts and prayers are with the people of Belgium. Obama's historic visit to Havana began on Sunday, where he met with the Cuban president to begin the process of mending broken relationships. He spoke this morning to people of Cuba, promising a new chapter in the history of their country.
The University of Iowa police issued a crime alert last night after 2 sexual assaults were reported over the past weekend. They both occurred in East Side residence halls, and both were allegedly committed by an acquaintance of the survivors. Now, these are the 11th and 12th sexual misconducts reported here at the UI since the beginning of the 2015-2016 school year.
Tomorrow night, the Iowa City Council will give its first consideration on making changes to the city's taxi cab ordinance. The proposed amendment would allow services like Uber to get a city-issued business license. The company would need to provide proof to the city that a third-party background check was done on all drivers, and all drivers would need a city-issued ID card. At the beginning of March, the City Council voted 4-3 to defer the decision, until this week to give the community more time to provide input.
Even as national politics continue to pick up steam, election season is moving forward here at home. The semi-annual University of Iowa student government election season has begun. This year we have a new ticket called the Block Party. Daily Iowan TV reporter Zhao Li takes a deeper look at what changes the party leaders wish to bring to the UI campus.
Block Party, it stands for Bettering Lives on Campus, and it's a group of 38 dedicated student leaders running for UISG. We have an expansive platform of long-term, short-term goals to further the university and just improve the undergraduate experience at Iowa. Last night the campaign season began at 10 p.m. so we had a kickoff event at the Mill, and it was just a really great chance to kick off the campaign season and get everyone in the spirit.
The Block Party is working on solving problems surrounding diversity, inclusion, sustainability, affordability, and accessibility to student government. Rachel said many of the ideas came from her past experience as a resident assistant.
Came up with a platform initiative of having therapy dogs, which is one of the really exciting finals week initiatives, and some of my residents have had emotional support animals, and it's a really effective way to help with depression and anxiety and other mental health concerns.
Another new change Block Party is hoping to bring on UI campus is the increasing resources and funding for student disability service.
They've been getting funding cuts over and over, and they don't have enough staff either to provide the services that they need to provide for University of Iowa students. And so Block Party wants to make sure that the funding is increased for student disability services and that they have the resources they need to make sure that those services are being provided fully.
Students can now see people with a signature green t-shirt either on their way to classes or in the library. So why does the party choose green as their team color?
Green is kind of a new color that hasn't been used before, just like we're a fun and new, exciting group of people. And it's also a new thing because Rachel and I are one of the first female executive tickets, both president and vice president, and so it kind of represents that new thing for UISG as well.
The voting will begin on March 30th. Students can vote through Iowa Student Information System. Reporting inside the main library, Charlie, the Iowan TV.
Well, Alana, we may be past the official start of spring on the calendar, but I think winter's having one more last hurrah.
That's right. There's even talk of snow later on in the week. Let's toss it over to Becca Scadden in the weather studio.
Thanks, guys. We've seen some warmer temps here in Iowa City today, but that won't continue for the rest of the week. Wednesday, we're looking at temps in the upper 40s in the morning and afternoon. It'll drop into the lower 40s by the evening. Looking ahead at the rest of our week, we see temperatures falling as the week begins. Thursday, we see a high of 38 with an 80% chance of precipitation and a possibility of some snow. Friday, temps move back up to a high of 53 with sunny skies. As we move into the weekend, rain is in the forecast. Saturday, we see a high of 49 degrees. Sunday, temperatures drop slightly with a high of 45 degrees and a 70% chance of rain. As we move into next week, the high moves up to the low 50s and the rain will continue. That's your weather, Iowa City. Jeremy and Alana, back to you.
Have you ever used food, coffee, or even more alcohol to cure a nasty hangover? Well, most of these common methods might not be helping you cope with the aftermath of a night out. Daily Iowan TV's Keaton Fuller went out to debug these myths.
Most Iowa City residents aren't a complete stranger to a night downtown, but this can often come at the price of a horrible hangover. To recover from this, everybody has their own methods.
Ibuprofen or Tylenol.
Burger and some coffee.
Some more drinking.
But according to substance abuse counselor Beth Rebarger, these solutions aren't necessarily worth the trouble.
I think essentially just over the years they get passed on through stories, but people don't really delve deeper into why we experience a hangover, don't really understand the research behind it.
A few common myths about hangover cures include eating something good and greasy like a Pancheros burrito or a couple slices of Mesa pizza. But once alcohol is in your body, food isn't going to get rid of it much faster. Ever tried coffee the next morning? Well, it also does nothing to speed up your metabolism and can even lead to heart palpitations. Lots of painkillers before bed has little to no effect as well, and can even damage your liver.
Around the world, people have all kinds of different weird solutions for their hangovers. In Puerto Rico, they rub a lemon under the armpit of their drinking arm, and in Ireland, they bury themselves up to their necks in sand. But in reality, the only actual solutions are time and water.
Everybody has their own ideas of what helps them work through a hangover, but really all you can do is give your body time to process the alcohol and try drinking in moderation to begin with. Keaton Fuller, Daily Iowan TV.
A group in Scott County is pushing to plant over 550 miles of native grasses and flowers on the roadsides. Right now, many non-native species of plants are lining the roads but aren't as beneficial to the land as native plants. If the Scott County Boards of Supervisions accept this plan, it could mean better water quality, reduced herbicide usage and better environment for pollinators. It could also give a new home to animals. The group is expected to present their plan on April 19th.
Well, again, spring has sprung. It's on the calendar, and of course, spring football. There's a lot of excited fans after a good 2015 for Kirk Ferentz and company.
That's right. I know I'm excited as a Hawkeye fan. Let's go ahead and toss it over to Katie in the sports studio.
Well, it's a fun time of the year to be a sports fan with March Madness in full force and Iowa baseball coming back home to Iowa City. Also, spring football is starting up too as Pro Day was wrapped up yesterday. It is time for Iowa football to get back out on the field. Football reporter Katie Reber was at the Hanson Football Performance Center and gives us a recap. Katie?
As they begin their spring season, the Iowa football team is focusing on it being a new year with new goals and objectives. After losing 21 seniors last year, every player at every level is stepping up their game.
So it's all about the opportunity for everybody, but it's everybody at every level. The older guys, guys like CJ and Josie, if they play the way they did last year, it's not going to be good enough. We're going to need them to play better, and that's true of all the guys that have played. And then the guys that haven't played have got to be able to, guys who we just talked about, Germanique and Adrian, have to step in and be able to play a role. And we've got to have younger guys supporting those guys and moving along, because you just never know, when somebody's going to get called in. So those are the things you're looking at during the course of the spring, just to see not only what guys are doing on the field, but what they're doing in terms of just handling the situations that they're confronted with.
Now, of course, some of those veteran players will step up into the leadership roles on this team, but head coach Kirk Ferentz is also excited for some former Hawkeyes on his staff.
After serving as director of on-campus recruiting for Iowa football for the past 2 years, Kelvin Bell was named as recruiting coordinator and defensive assistant coach after filling a vacancy when Seth Wallace was named Iowa's linebacker coach in January.
I'm excited about the fact we have 3 former players now with Kelvin joining us, 3 former players in the program coaching. Seth is a former graduate assistant. And you take 3 other guys, if you look at Chris Doyle, Phil Parker, and Reese Morgan, those guys have 50 years experience in the program. So, just really feel good about our staff right now. I think there's a real good understanding about our culture.
For a team with a lot of moving parts this season, it certainly will be interesting to see where they end up. From outside the Iowa football complex, I'm Katie Reber, Daily Iowan TV Sports.
Well, it's back to Iowa City for the Iowa baseball team. After spending spring break in Atlanta, Georgia and Springfield, Missouri, they get set to put on a show for their home crowd Tuesday night as the Hawks take on Bradley at 4 p.m. The Hawkeyes' spring trip was not what the team was hoping for, and as Iowa went 2-5. But head coach Rick Heller says that he has seen much improvement from his team that graduated 5 starters from a season ago. After the game tonight, it's on to the Big Ten as the team will welcome Maryland to Duane Banks Field for a 3-game series to open up Big Ten play. And it was a record-breaking day for Hawkeye swimmer Emma Sogstad, who broke the University of Iowa record in the 200 individual medley over the weekend at the NCAA Swimming and Diving National Championship. The Forest City, Iowa native swam the 200 in 157.55, beating the old record in the event, which was 157.62. Sogstad went on to garner All-American status after her finish in the 100 breaststroke. As the women swimmers and divers are just now finishing up, it's the men that are getting set for the NCAA championships in Atlanta, Georgia. The competition will start on Wednesday, with the finals being held on Sunday. Now, this will be the second NCAA championship for senior Roman Trusov, sophomore Jersey Twarski, and senior Addison Bushelt, and marks the first year for the freshmen Kenneth Mendy and Jack Smith. Now, tomorrow we will have a coverage from Hawkeye Baseball Showdown with the Bradley Braves, but that will do it for me here on this Tuesday in the sports studio. Jeremy and Alana, back to you at the desk.
Well, thank you for joining us here tonight on Daily Iowan TV.
That's right. Be sure to check out our website, dailyiowan.com, for all the latest news. And for Daily Iowan TV, I'm Alana Neal.
And I'm Jeremy Meyer. Have a great night.
Iowa SJMC.
Are you worried about how you're going to find out about the latest news in Iowa City and the University of Iowa? Well, look no further. You can download the Daily Iowan mobile app on your iPhone for the area's best news coverage. And you can also read and watch us on your iPad. The Daily Iowan is now on TV, online, and in your pocket. If it happens, it's news to us.